Hello and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 463 for the week of August 4th, 2020. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who's here this week?
Brock Sager.
Kevin.
And Charlie.
Brock's video right now looks like when they tried to fix that famous religious painting. Did you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, well, like they cut off they gouged through my face.
You were frozen in a very pixelated, bad look, and you look like that. You look like that picture right now. It's actually pretty fucking amazing.
Why did you screen cap it?
I was going to say, you're going to totally screen cap this and make this the podcast image, aren't you?
I don't know about that. You know what our podcast image is. You already know what our podcast image for this episode is going to be, because when you got something to pimp, you got to promote the hell out of it. We're gonna take the first 20 minutes of this podcast or 10 minutes of this podcast, and talk about something that you listeners can buy right now as we speak on this podcast.
Well, you can pre-order.
You should go to comicsconspiracy.biz, or if you're international, you can go over to eBay and look up Detective Comics 1027. Why do you look up Comics Conspiracy store exclusive variant cover by Mitch Gerads? And why don't you go and buy one of those? But wait, there's two that you can buy, because one's the regular cover and one's signed, limited to 250 copies. What? We're doing another store exclusive cover, guys. I'm so excited.
It looks amazing. I want to pimp this. But then I realize how many things I have to ship out, and I'm starting to get scared.
We're going to ship a lot of stuff.
I'm getting overtime for this, all right? That's all I'm saying. I'm getting overtime.
We're going to ship a lot of bucks.
Oh, God.
So Detective Comics 1027, if you do not know what that is the 1000th issue of Detective Comics featuring
the
Batman. However, technically, it's actually not, because there's also the 0 issues and like the 1 million issue. But semantics aside, 1,000 issues of Detective Comics. It has. Oh, let me get my list. I got the full list here. I got the full list.
Like almost everybody in the industry.
It's all the big guys from DC right now. Ships September 15th, and our store exclusive cover is going to ship same time. It is a 144-page anthology. This is bigger than most Marvel graphic novels. This is like a legit full-size graphic novel that's coming out as a single issue comic. Like, this is what was the size of Fables? The final issue of Fables was 144 pages.
I think it was close to it. Let me look it up.
Ryan, I do like the way you rigged the hub so that all the other variants for this issue are just the blank coming soon icon.
We did not do that. I'm frustrated, because also I want those, right? That's an absolute ton of great. There's a ton of great covers that are going to be coming for that. That Artgerm cover with Batwoman's fantastic, right? So, I think this week the covers are coming for Detective 1027. I think.
So, are you going to be doing variant sets with this, or just individual?
No, because we're doing the regular book. I reached out to Mitch Gerads and they said, "Hey, you guys aren't doing cons. I would love, if you're willing, if we ship them to you, could you sign some?" And he goes, "Yeah, absolutely." So we're getting 250 copies signed. A little bit more expensive. Obviously, we got to ship it to him, ship it back, blah, 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 blah. So it's $24.99 for our cover, $39.99 for the signed one. It's going to take a little bit longer if you buy the signed one. Obviously, it's going to take a little bit longer for that one to come in, because we got to ship it to him. He's going to sign them, ship them back. So that, throw in that extra 4 to 6 weeks or whatever, because it's going to take some extra time. But we should be shipping those out mid-September. So on our website, you can buy them if you're international, or just prefer eBay for some reason. You can buy them on eBay as well. International sellers, all the shipping goes through eBay, so it's all taken care of. We don't do international at the store otherwise. I know it's a little bit expensive, but it's our only real option. So we actually couldn't announce this until August 1st. Mm-hmm. I put in for this not a long time ago, quite a while ago, and Mitch was my absolute first choice. And I'm so happy. He replied immediately. He was like, yes. And if you saw some tweet of his a month ago where he said he was like working way overtime for like 4 days on a cover, that's this cover. Yeah. Super cool. He's coming like through like, like a glass ceiling or through a overlook or a window or whatever it is, where it's all this glass shattering down as Batman's, kind of falling down, but reflected in the broken glass are all the big Batman villains, Scarecrow, Two-Face, Joker, Catwoman. And who's that at the bottom? Hell yeah. Kite Man. So I messaged him and I said, look, you're going to do all these villains. In the back, small somewhere, can you put Kite Man? And he goes, I gotcha. Don't worry. He puts him like huge in the front. Yeah. I was like, okay, that totally works too. It's like every comment on his Twitter feed has been Kite Man. So I swear to God, Kite Man more popular than the Joker. That's just fact at this point.
Well, it's that catchphrase, baby. Hell yeah.
Everyone loves Kite Man, myself included. So the best decision I've ever made, putting Kite Man on my comic book cover.
Okay, wait. Mark this date. The best decision I've ever made, putting Kite Man on the 1027 detective cover. All right, noted.
I don't make many good decisions, but this was a good one. So, it's a really cool cover. I'm actually going to see, because they sent some roughs. I'm curious if I can share those down the road at some point. I don't know if that's something he cares about, but I'd love to be able to share those.
I know he's super excited for the cover.
He's been promoting the hell out of it. He's promoting more than I have. I've been super busy the last couple of days. So like I did it on Saturday, and then he promoted it like multiple times on Sunday and Monday. And so I'll, tomorrow.
Newsarama picked us up and put it out on Monday.
Yeah. Well, so one other cover was on eBay early, and DC had said they wanted everyone to put their covers up on August 1st. And one cover went up early, the Mike Allred cover, and it's kind of just been floating around. It's one of the other store exclusive covers. So whatever, I don't know. I don't think they really get in trouble, but DC probably yelled at them. But I was like, boom, August 1st, 9 a.m., email, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whole social media blast, blah, 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 blah. Put them up on the website, got them on Comic Hub, everything, right? And I'm looking around and like, no one else is promoting their book. So either they don't have the art yet, or I don't know. Like, I know there's more. There's like a dozen of them, or at least. So I don't know why like none others are being promoted. But whatever. Like, that's good for us. We're getting a big head start on selling these. So yeah, we've sold a decent amount, especially of the signed one. We're not sold out, but we've sold. I'd say about what I expected to at this point. We will if you want it day of release, the signed one might still be around. I don't want to have them sign more. We're doing 10% of the print run signed, so I wanted to kind of stick to that number to make it something a little special. But if they start to go and we only have like, when we start getting down to like double digits left, I'll start letting people know, because I've been selling. It's a good clip. And Brock, you were ringing them up all day Monday.
Oh God!
Friday and Saturday I was.
All day Sunday,
Saturday afternoon, all day I was ringing up copies we were getting orders for. So
Sunday it was like every time I checked it, 3 copies.
Yeah.
So are you getting, not counting like the free comic book day cover, but in terms of the other store exclusive covers, are you getting the same amount that you did with the other ones, or are you getting?
It is a little bit less. So there's 2,500 copies total. So 2,250 will be unsigned and 250 will be signed. I actually talked with another shop in the area, and because the DC and Marvel numbers they're hard to hit. That's why I've only done the 2 DC ones, because Image is a lot easier. They're like 500 copies, done, easy, and they're cheap. The Marvel and DC ones are a little bit trickier because they have much higher print runs. I actually talked to another shop locally who said they may want to do some like Bay Area like split with a couple stores, which would be a lot easier to deal with. So may do a few more of these down the road. Just bigger anniversaries, specials, number ones, not like random issues.
No, I mean honestly, I was just curious because I'm wondering at what point are we going to be be able to say your cover with Kite Man outsold your Harley cover.
I'd have to run numbers on Harley. We've sold a lot. I mean, they still sell regularly online, and I still sell them at the store pretty often. You know,
I mean, they sell almost. They sell like occasionally. We'll sell one a week or one every few weeks. Like,
yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not saying by any stretch of the imagination the Harley cover was a failure. I just really want your Kite Man cover to be a bigger success.
Mm-hmm. Well, and especially at the dollar price too, it's more expensive, right, than the Harley one. So I think it's a great value, and I'm not just saying that. I mean, I think legitimately, Detective Comics 1027, the regular book is $10 for 144 pages. That's the best phenomenal price you'll find. Yeah, that is a phenomenal. Look, it's $10. $10 is expensive. Don't get me wrong, but what you are getting for that $10 is and it's square bound. It's got to fit on a book. You can put it on a bookshelf, right? I mean, it's way more than just a comic book. But I didn't get to go through the creators. I actually pulled this up and I forgot to do this. So the main stories, they are by Marika Tamaki, who just started her run on Wonder Woman. Matt Fraction, James Tynion IV, obviously crushing it right now on the main Batman title. Brian Michael Bendis, Peter Tomasi, who is the main writer on Detective Comics right now. Greg Rucka, Grant Morrison back for a Batman story. I am very happy with that. Scott Snyder, Kelly Sue DeConnick, Tom King, and Marv Wolfman, and others. For art, Emanuela Lupacino, Chip Zdarsky, Chris Burnham. So I'm assuming Chris Burnham and Grant Morrison are doing a Batman Incorporated story together. I would assume. Bill Sienkiewicz, Edward Rizzo, Jose Luis Garcia Lopez. So there you go. That's for Kevin.
That'll probably be a pinup, right?
I don't know. It's a lot of stories. Brad Walker, John Romita Jr., Riley Rossmo, Dan Mora, Jamal Campbell, David Marquez, Ivan Rice, Walter Simonson, and more. And there's a ton of awesome variant covers if you want those. Plus our variant cover, Comics Conspiracy variant.
The Tom King, and Walt Simonson. That's in this.
Is it Walt?
Yeah, that's the one he's been doing with Walt.
Okay, yeah, I don't know who any of these creators are working with. I don't know. I haven't. If there's a list out there of the stories, I haven't seen it. So I just had the list of the creators.
Yeah, no. Tom has mentioned that he's been working with Walt on a Batman story for Detective. So
cool. Yeah, a great list of creators. Very excited for our cover, especially. However, what am I going to do with these books? I don't know that I quite
understood
thought about
144 pages times 2,500 plus the binding.
Quite know how many boxes this is going to be. Let's do a little back of the let's do a little math on the back of the notepad here. So let's.
Normally a box is what, 100 or 200?
No, 200 at 200 at 32 pages. So 200 at 32 pages, 6,400 divided by 144. So that's about 40. Let's call it 40. Let's call it 40 in a box. Let's call it 40 copies in a box. 2,500 by 40 in a comic box. That's 62 boxes.
Holy shit!
That's 31 double diamonds. 31 double diamonds, 10, 5, 10, 15.
I got to ship.
I'm looking at my garage right now because I just finished sorting that collection I picked up, and I'm thinking of how like double diamonds would fit there. 31 double diamonds, 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. That's a lot of space.
How many double diamonds am I shipping to Mitch?
So I have to.
A lot of space.
I have to ask.
Jesus.
Because typically you pick up your entire shipment.
These are getting.
I mean, the DC and the Marvel. Are you going to go the day early to pick these up?
No, they're coming straight to the store from DC Direct. So this is actually an interesting thing. DC. This is some behind the counter news here. I don't know that it makes a difference. I don't think this is like something I can't talk about. DC is actually doing everything on the variant covers. There's no distribution, so these store exclusive variant covers are literally being shipped by Warner Brothers, which is not the way the covers in the past all came from Diamond, right? So they were in the system with a diamond code and a barcode and everything. It wasn't available for other stores to order, but it was something that came separate. So, came with the rest of the shipment. This one will come completely separate. So hopefully we get it a week early, so I have some prep time and we can pack, a couple hundred or more orders and not have to sit around and, that'd be great. So story exclusive variant cover, Detective Comics 1027, Mitch Gerads. Go pick it up. It's a great cover.
Now, I do want to.
You'll see me promoted a lot in the next few weeks.
I do want to pimp our Harley cover because it's by Mikel Janin, who is doing the current Wonder Woman run. So for those of you who picked that up and love the art, we have Harley ones with a great picture that he did.
We do have other exclusive covers we've done through the years. We have the Harley Quinn #1 from Rebirth. We have our Comics Conspiracy Walking Dead cover that came out as part of the 15th anniversary. And so it's like our logo on like a storefront, right? That like it's a recreation of issue #1. That's a really fun one. And then we have the 2 Undiscovered Country variants we did last year.
Do we still have copies of all the store variant covers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still got all of them. Yeah.
So you should offer a store exclusive bundle.
a bundle of all of them? That's not a bad idea, actually. And just add to it as time goes on. Not a bad idea. That's actually a good idea. Maybe I'll do that. Thank you, Charlie. I like that idea. So we'll move on to some other news-ish type stuff here. I was very excited for that cover. I think it turned out really well. We have actually not a ton of news this week, but we have a bunch of good questions from our backers at Patreon. So we're going to get to those. But the 2 big ones, one of them happened a little bit before the podcast, so that's good to talk about. But let's move over to our good friend of the podcast, Scott Snyder, working on Death Metal, which if you don't have your copy of Legends of the Dark Knights #1 reserved at your local comic shop, I'm sorry, you're not going to get a copy. That book, I'm just out of my mind on the speculation on this issue that comes out tomorrow. It's like $30-$40 for the main cover. People had the 1 in 25 up for as much as like $1,500. I mean, it's selling for like $250, $300, but like people were trying to get like crazy money for this book. And I'm so over the speculation. I'm so over. I mean, I love metal. I love the book. Like it's not nothing against the book. I just can't deal with this stuff anymore.
It's the first appearance of Robin King.
Yeah, which is cool. That's fine. But
he's supposed to be worse than the Batman Who Laughs.
Sure. People just get so crazy about this stuff, and it just so takes away from the actual comics. But
and the funny thing is you can't even promote the second print and say pre-order that from your shop because the FOC already went in for the second print this week.
Yeah, we put it in FOC pretty early. It's not like I got extras, right? Because we sold out. But I didn't go crazy on it. But I had some people order the second prints because that's going to be a low print run, right? So, but Scott Snyder's working on Death Metal right now. But he did announce that is going to be kind of his last big superhero project at DC for a while. In our article with Newsarama, he says, "I'm not leaving superheroes, but I need to start working on more of my own stuff. I'm still doing stuff at DC, but definitely not as much. I want to give other people a chance with the big stuff at DC. And to be perfectly frank, there's a lot I want to do outside of superhero comics." I know he has a book coming up with Francisco Francavilla. There's more Witches with Jock, and then Undiscovered Country obviously is still continuing. And
American Vampire's coming back too.
Oh, that's the other one, right? American Vampire is coming back. Finally, that's been gone for a long, long time. So with Raphael Albuquerque. And Raphael Albuquerque is the one that did our Undiscovered Country variant cover. So it all kind of ties together. So yeah, lots and lots of stuff coming from Scott Snyder. Just probably a little less on the superhero stuff, which is, man, if anyone deserves a break from the big 2 grind, it's him. I mean, he's done so many big books for DC over the last decade. And it's easy to get kind of stuck at the top. Is that a good way to put it? Right, where like you're just kind of always the go-to guy.
Well, because I mean, when he first started out, I mean, he blew everyone away with Black Mirror, and then he got the reins of Batman in New 52. But during that time, he was writing American Vampire, and he was like just having a great time with that one. He started that with Stephen King originally, and so.
But that was one of those books then when it came out where I remember people being like, well, okay, I guess it's this guy, but also there's also like Stephen King. Like that's the only reason anyone's reading this weird book. Oh, wait, no. Who's the Scott Snyder guy? Oh, shit. Oh, This guy's amazing. Wow. And the Stephen King thing kind of almost like
it fell off. It was only like the first story arc.
Yeah.
And then it fell off, and it's just like, damn, American Vampire's good. But I think it was because he kind of got sucked up into all of the Batman stuff. Like people looked at him for Batman and not for that. So, but at the same time, he got Witches out. He had that. What was that other horror book he did? Oh God, I'm blanking on it.
Yeah, the water one.
Well, that was the Wake. Sean Murphy. But he also did the other horror one with, I can't remember. It was an Image book, I think. Oh God,
Witches. No, Witches.
There was
Severed.
Severed. That was
Severed.
It, yeah. So there's like a ton of he really enjoys and thrives in some of that other stuff. So it's really nice to see him kind of take a step back from superheroes.
Yeah. Everyone's got their everyone's got a thing. They've got to he's done plenty of stuff. And like I said, if anyone deserves to go off and make his own books and be successful outside of the superhero world, it's him. He's done a ton of stuff. I hate to see him leave forever, and I don't think he will. Seems to like DC. I'm sure he'd like to stick around and do more eventually. So, the other big. Okay.
Black Label is where American Vampire would go now, or
it'd be Black Label.
Yeah, they'll just throw Black Label on it. It's not going to be. It's just going to be like a Strange Adventures or something with the harder.
The normal comic. Yeah. Well, like Three Jokers is Black Label, right? And that's
no. The only reason I was asking is because wasn't American Vampire before Vertigo?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the only the Sandman event, the Sandman universe stuff is the only kind of Vertigo like adjacent stuff now, right? It's all Black Label, but it was like what was Vertigo.
Well, unless they give him his own imprint like they did Bendis.
Yeah. Well, but the Bendis books would be part of the normal line. The Wonder comics would be part of the normal line. The Hill House comics are Black Label. I mean, that's their, the parent sort of kids DC Black Label, and then they filter down from there. So, yeah, which is great. It's great. Excited to see more American Vampire. I never read that last. They did like that last series. I know it was like an original graphic. There was the Prestige format one. I'm way behind on it.
So it was just a one shot or like random stories.
Yeah.
They did a couple of anthology issues. So.
All right. So now the big question.
Okay. I have the Omnibus sitting here to read one of these days.
So there's a big question. We all going to have our say on this. Today, Disney announced that for the low price of $29.99, you can get Mulan on September 4th on Disney Plus.
So there were two parts of this that I was unclear on, or at least minorly unclear on.
Okay.
Is this a $29.99 rental fee, or is this a $29.99 own fee?
As far as I understand, you pay $29.99 for it on your Disney Plus account, and it is on your Disney Plus account forever. It will eventually fall off and be on Disney Plus just normally, right? Just whatever that would be, and end of the year, January or whatever.
That's end of October, according to their announcement.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want it now, so September 4th, you could pay the fee. End of October feels like that's so soon. That feels way too short.
Yeah, that's 2 months, basically.
Right, this is what I was saying before we started recording. Unless you are a family, I don't know why anyone would pay that $30.
Yeah.
My curiosity around this, as like I had subscribed to Disney Plus, And then I canceled it after I watched the stuff that I wanted to watch and waiting for more content to go up on there. The idea of putting up a movie for me to buy is not going to get me back on Disney Plus.
Sure.
So I'm curious to see if they do anything where you have to be a subscriber to Disney Plus, or if you can buy it separate through Disney Plus. Considering I think you can, like I still technically have a login. I'm just no longer subscribed.
I believe it is like the PlayStation model of like you have to be subscribed and then you have to buy it for the access. Yeah. So I did not realize it was that short. If it was like February or March or whatever it was going to be on Disney Plus, that would probably be a different situation. End of October feels like that's right around the corner.
Now, I was reading, this was in a bundle of other news that I was just trying to jam through quickly, but I don't think I misread this. This is what was so baffling, is if you're going to lead off with that model, with the home model.
Mm-hmm.
So look, obviously, maybe I'm not the audience for this because I haven't watched any of those live action Disney remakes except the Jungle Book.
They've been good. I've liked them all.
So I think my curiosity is, why didn't you do this with Hamilton? Because that seems like a hotter in demand item, at least in this moment, than a remake is. Not that the Mulan movie won't be good. I can't obviously comment on that. I just mean something that people are clamoring for. And Hamilton was so expensive to watch. That seems like the way you would test this model.
But Hamilton is something that people already saw.
People who could afford a $200 ticket saw.
Sure.
I don't know. I would just float something. I would float Black Widow with this model before I would float a remake that I've already announced is going to follow for free.
Yeah, so I was going through the variety number. I don't see October in here anywhere, but I mean, I'm not saying it.
I'll have to backtrack on this, but that's bad radio, so we'll just keep going. Let's just say at some point soon it'll come on for free.
Yeah. Now, to me, that is the difference, right? I mean, October feels so soon. If it was like, next year sometime, okay, that's a little bit different.
Well,
but October
in October, are they dropping like the Blu-ray and the buying the digital copy anyway, and
I mean, they
all
might.
that stuff? Because I mean, technically, they're going to be looking at trying to get some of that Christmas money that's going to be very slim this year.
True, and 2 months is not. Man, I hate to say it, 2 months actually is like the turnaround time now for that type of stuff, where the digital release is 10 weeks out.
Well, I mean, they've already announced with a bunch of production houses that like the turnaround is going to be 2 weeks after movie theater release.
Well, that's Paramount, right? 17 days, so it'll Friday in theaters, then 2 Mondays later it'll be digital, or 2 Tuesdays later, or something like that. Which, I mean. It's just not. But so this comes. Let's bring this back to the comic books, and the question is: so Mulan probably not worth it. Black Widow, Wonder Woman, New Mutants.
Okay, well, hold on. There's one of those that doesn't fit with the others. New Mutants, because that's a Fox acquisition. There's another studio that has streaming rights to that.
Okay,
that's not going to be a Disney Plus.
But let's say same idea.
Oh yeah. So
same
the price
idea
tag?
On Hulu.
Okay. Would you pay $30 for Black Widow?
I'd pay $30 for all three.
Like as a package or each?
No, I'd pay $30 for all three.
I mean, for me, it's I would wait until at least I could get a physical copy and then in digital.
Assuming the plan is the same, where Black Widow would have remained on my Disney Plus account and Wonder Woman would have remained on my HBO Go account, I'd be fine with it. Because me and Leanne are going to go. We're going to go together. We're going to go to the fucking XD screen. We're going to get food beforehand, right? We're going to go get, where the hell do we always go? Red Robin. We're going to go to Red Robin. I'm going to get a milkshake. I'm already like $60 in at this point. So like, why don't I just pay the $30 and watch Wonder Woman or Black Widow in the
comfort of your own home? Yeah.
So for me, this isn't even really a new question, and I have since.
Well, we have a price point. That's the thing. It says this is a one-off. It's a one-off unless it's successful.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is they've already done a bunch of movies to digital instead of theaters.
But we have massive summer Disney price now. Now $30 is the price. That is the price.
And
that would be the price of Tenet. That would be the price for Wonder Woman. Disney threw down the gauntlet. They put 30. That's the price.
So this is where I make the distinction a little bit. There are some studios that have been doing you pay this price, you own the movie as though you're buying it digitally.
Yeah.
You've had some studios that say you pay this price, you're literally renting the movie for 2 days to watch it or whatnot. I have not done any of the rentals. I've done a handful of the owned digitals, and I've done a rental when it's gone to like the on sale rental, not like the full price rental.
Mm-hmm.
I would be more likely to do Mulan even at this price if it wasn't tied to a Disney Plus subscription. Like, I realize that's not a factor for you who just subscribes to everything and leaves going, but
I mean, to be honest, the odds of me watching any of these movies before they would just be free on this service is pretty minimal. So the rewatch has almost nothing to do with it. For me, it's to watch it now, right?
Yeah.
New Mutants is the tougher of the three to pull that trigger, but I am very interested in that movie. Wonder Woman is absolutely not even a question. I would do it in a heartbeat. And I still would do it with Black Widow, too. I wouldn't feel good.
And Black Widow and Wonder Woman, I kind of feel, are a different thing. And the main reason I consider them a different thing is because the amount of buzz and conversations and news stories that will break when those movies come out make it very, very hard to not be part of the cultural conversation that goes on at the time.
I mean, we're going to do a podcast about them if they have drop dates.
Exactly. So Mulan.
So you have to, Kevin. You have to for the podcast.
Look, there is not a Wonder Woman. Probably it's a tough sell unless you're with an audience. Like if all of us were together in a room and we're all chipping in.
Yeah.
But to sit like. Let's just say, Brock, you're watching it on your own. Would you pay $30?
Well, but Brock's got his kids, right? Charlie's
but I
got
mean,
his
if
kids.
it's a movie that excludes the kids.
But like, so all three of those movies, technically, I wouldn't show my kids until like I had seen them. Like, I know my daughter's excited to see Wonder Woman and Black Widow and all that, but I still need to kind of preview those movies. So it's one of those things where if it's like Charlie said, I'm paying to own Black Widow and own Wonder Woman, then it's probably $30 is fine. But like, honestly, I'd be like, Kevin, do you want to chip in and do New Mutants? Like, because it's not something that I need absolutely right then and there. I mean, I'm interested in seeing the movie, but like cost wise, it doesn't pan out for me, right? Whereas like Wonder Woman and Black Widow, that's potentially me viewing it, and then me and my daughter viewing it, my son viewing it, if it's okay enough for them to watch. So at a normal price point, that would be me spending $60 at the movie theater.
Yeah. To me, what this comes down to, and I mean, Ryan's point about HBO Max versus Disney Plus is very apropos, is this is the first major blockbuster that they are testing this with, and they're keeping it within the Disney Plus ecosystem so they don't have to pay any additional fees. Really, because I mean, if it was on Prime, they'd have to pay a cut to Prime. If it was on Apple, they'd have to pay a cut to Apple. By keeping it within their Disney Plus ecosystem, they get most, if not all of that, $30.
Do you think it would just be on your Disney account? So like your Movies Anywhere account?
I'm guessing the terminology on this, calling it part of Disney Plus, suggests it would not be. I mean, they might do some sort of linkage down the road where you could link your Movies Anywhere's account to Disney Plus, but that doesn't exist as it is today, especially because Disney Plus has all the movies that would be part of your Movie Anywhere. But for me, that's really the thing, is they're looking at this as can we make enough without paying the fees associated with taking it elsewhere to release a blockbuster this way?
Hey, Charlie, this is let's categorize this as rumor. Okay, Ryan, you need like a flashing rumor music. So reading among some other things, so it's not one source, it's a few different sources writing about home entertainment, that a discussion in Disney at the moment probably not literally at the moment as we speak, but at this period in time, is their future 4K home releases will not be physical at all, Disney movies. not Fox. That's a separate category and a separate contract. But future 4K Disney movies will be released digital only is one of the plans they're eyeing.
I really hope that doesn't happen.
It's cheaper. You don't have to press all those discs. You don't have to have all those facilities open.
So for me, what it comes down to, and I agree with Ryan, I really hope this doesn't happen, but we've already seen this to a degree, especially with some of the print-on-demand stuff that Warner does and that kind of stuff, is physicals moving more towards what would be considered like a collector's market, not a
I'm
walk
fine with
into
that.
Target and buy movies in Target as much. And I
love the Warner Archive.
Yeah, I can totally see Disney moving to that, being like, okay, by doing it this way, we have more control over the price and stuff of these items.
I think would they shutter the Disney Movie Club though? I mean, I think that thing's really huge still. There's an audience for this stuff. There still is a massive audience.
You also have to remember,
I just want to be clear. I was talking only items that I saw were discussing 4K specifically.
Yeah, and I could. It's an odd question because I don't know how much they've been selling of the older movies they've been releasing in 4K, because they have been churning out Little Mermaid and Aladdin, and like they definitely have a pipeline going right now to push the 4K format on a bunch of stuff. Like you look at how quickly they released all the Marvel movies in 4K. That was done over a year, basically. Mm-hmm. Same with like Star Wars. Just recently, they just dropped all the Star Wars movies in like 4K, and that kind of stuff. So they've really been going all in 4K. I just, when it comes like to Warner Archives and stuff, as Target keeps shrinking their area for it, and Best Buy keeps shrinking their area for it, I would not be surprised at all if it turns into a movie club exclusive or something like that, where they keep the prices where they are. They are able to take in more of the money for producing it by selling it directly to consumers. I could see it going that route, but I don't necessarily see it going away.
It's fine with me.
Anyway, I pulled us down a rabbit hole away from comics.
No. It's all the same though, right? Because Disney 4K content means Star Wars, means MCU, means the TV, the upcoming TV shows on 4K release. I cannot imagine in a million years they would not put out physical copies of that stuff somehow.
And I guess that's the question I have is I could see them deciding to slow down or stopping going back to do the archives and getting those in 4K. I could see them moving those to just the digital if those haven't been doing particularly well. Or, as I said, I could see them moving them to the movie club only and stuff like that. But I don't know how those sales figures have been at all.
Well, like the Diamond Anniversary editions and whatever all the different versions they do. That seems like where the push is. We can get way more money from you if you buy Disney Plus in the long term. However, I gotta think the people that are buying those discs already have Disney Plus. I think it's just more money, right?
Yeah. Did you see the Disney loss for this quarter?
Well, I mean, the parks.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
You want to make up a huge chunk of that loss? Release the OG Star Wars trilogy in 4K and on Blu-ray.
God. I would buy it, even though I don't have a 4K TV.
Everyone would.
Yeah. Like there, you could eat up a big percentage of what you've lost on the parks being closed just on nostalgia for people who would buy that.
Yeah.
Not to drag this up any longer, but the only thing I thought that was weird was that was behind a paywall, basically.
Toby's here. What was behind a paywall?
Well, the Disney Plus thing, like the Mulan was behind a Disney Plus subscription.
Yep.
What would you think about it if it was, say $30 for the Disney Plus people, but $50 for everybody else, or $30 for everybody else, but because of Disney Plus, you get it for $20?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Because I almost think like there should be an incentive for you to be a member already, versus you having to be a member by paying a monthly fee and then pay a premium on top of that.
Well, how many people actually don't pay for Disney Plus that have it, right? So many people get it with their Verizon account. People get it with different cable subscriptions.
T-Mobile had it for.
Is it T-Mobile or Verizon?
T-Mobile and Verizon both did it. And I think there was a couple other ways you could get a year subscription.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was Xfinity or AT&T or
I don't know. It wasn't them.
Well,
I don't
all
think
of that
so.
stuff is promo just to get paying customers in the long run, though.
Yeah, so I think, I think that'd be great if it was cheaper, but again, I think almost anyone that would buy this.
Yeah, I mean, that was the only thing that I thought was odd about it, but I have no problem with the price. Honestly, I thought these movies were going to be $50.
Yeah.
You know, you got to remember that you have to think it off their end, too. They were going to get, you know, Charlie's family, say, no, if it not, you know, Mulan maybe, but, you know, Black Widow. If Charlie were to go on a Sunday morning, that's still more than $50, I would think. You know, so.
But a lot of that cost is going to a lot of that's going to the movie theater.
No.
Yeah, but still,
almost nothing goes to the movie theater.
That's the money they make up on. It's not that it's not in a movie theater. It's not that they're not wanting to give you the experience. They can't at the moment. So, you know, I understand the pricing. I actually honestly thought it was going to be more. So I personally don't have a problem with it. And and there's people don't wait.
I would think the average person, the average like sale of movie tickets would be 2 tickets.
Yeah, easily.
Right. I think that is just and they're looking at, okay, $15 is like a Friday for a lot of parts of the country. $15 is a ticket price. So $30 is what we're going to charge. For couples, it's a deal for families. It sucks if you're single, but you know, they found that medium price. Like I said this, had they dropped Wonder Woman for $49.99 in May or whenever it was supposed to be out, I'd be like, done.
Yeah,
done. Not even a question, right?
No, again,
not for New Mutants, not for Milan, but Wonder Woman.
I mean, I was willing to pay that for just watching it. That's not even owning it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing too. Is
$30 and you get to keep it on your Disney Plus account, which I don't fully understand. Like, if you don't, I mean, if you can log in and only have access, I don't know. But $30, I'm like, that's actually cheaper than what I thought it was going to be. But again, I mean, it sucks for people like me, Kevin, you know, people that are basically, you know, just watch it on their own that probably have to like get together and split with someone. But on the other hand, I fully understand the reasoning, and I actually thought it was going to be more. So
Toby, answer the question we asked earlier. Yeah. Would you do $30 for Mulan? Would you do it?
Not me, because I was only going to go watch it with my AMC movie club thing, right? I didn't have much interest in this movie for some reason. I think it's weird that a bunch of Asian actors are all talking in English. So I have other issues with this movie. But if it was Black Widow, Wonder Woman, Tenet, I'm in.
So the question then was New Mutants, Wonder Woman, and Black Widow.
New Mutants, at this point, I can wait another 5 years, man. I'm already used to waiting. Probably, you know, if New Mutants was, I don't know, that one I'll probably wait. A grade, Wonder Woman, Black Widow, which I think are, you know, A-list ones, Tenet. Mm-hmm. Hell, I'd probably even pay for Ghostbusters, which may not be an A-list one, and I'd probably pay $20 for Bill and Ted, maybe 30.
How about Fast 12 or whatever it is now?
I'll pay $100 for that. No, I'm kidding. Yeah,
when did that get pushed back to? Like June or something, right?
I think it got pushed back a whole year or something. Yeah.
Did it get pushed like end of 2021?
Yeah, I think so. I stopped paying attention. I mean, it's like every couple of months they get pushed back even more, so I stopped. Yeah. But look, movies I'm really, really excited for and want to watch, I absolutely will pay the $30 for some of blockbusters that I would have otherwise watched in the theaters. And I probably have to be more picky and choosy in some of them. So yeah, Mulan probably be one of the ones I would most likely pass on.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going to be just a couple months till I could just watch it on my account, right? So I didn't actually know that part. But everything else, Black Widow, Wonder Woman, Bill and Ted, Ghostbusters, Fast 11, 15, whatever it is. Yeah, man, sign me up. I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, $30. I actually, that's cheaper than what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be easily $40 to $50. I'm sorry about that for the people that don't want to pay that, but.
You know, I feel something like Black Widow has just a really good chance to do good in the theaters because of name recognition. Do you think they would drop Eternals like this?
That's tough.
Because it is.
That's tough.
Like,
Actually, I think that's really tough because Black Widow has,
or does Black
at this point that
or does Black Widow make more sense because it's a known quantity and people would?
yes, I would think more in that vein.
Yeah,
The other way.
I don't think you can ask 30 for Eternals.
yeah.
Well, not now, right? But if Eternals came out like 5 years ago, what's the biggest hit? Like Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right? But the Eternals 1, that's a tough one, man.
Dude, if they were just like, I mean, obviously, I don't want this to keep going on, but just randomly, like, whatever, end of next year, they're just like, oh yeah, we're just going to drop Black Panther 2 out of nowhere. Like, like fucking Beyonce dropping like a new album out of nowhere, right? Like, you're just like, wait, what happened? Well, oh my God, there's a new Black Panther movie. This is ridiculous. Like, that almost could work, but that would be the riskiest shit. But that almost could work.
Well, I think
for a few things.
I think that Disney has, and Marvel has proven with their movies, especially with Guardians, that kind of just you might not know it, but it might blow you away. So I think that dropping Eternals for $30 is a gamble to see what you're going to get. But I think delaying these movies is just going to be more and more people just like, nah. We're already kind of just like New Mutants is August 28th. It was supposed to be out April 2018. You just kind of, things are different when it's stuff like Wonder Woman or Black Panther or Black Widow or, known things, right? But again, I think 30 is that decent price point for, people to go, oh, Eternals, it's a Marvel movie. I'll just check it out. It's a Marvel movie.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't know.
I even think Mulan.
So initially, my kind of thought was, and you kind of saw this to a degree, where all the really big budget movies were being held back and pushed out, but a lot of the smaller budget movies are what they started pushing to just go digital anyways.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I would have thought, even with the bigger budget movies, that as this goes on longer and longer, the question becomes, how far can you push that out? But I think there's also that reality of production on so much stuff still hasn't sort of picked back up.
Yeah.
Which means
they need money.
They need money, but they also need some amount of content at some point to kind of push coming out of this, meaning scheduling this stuff potentially becomes a bigger deal anyways. Rather than just dropping it online for a quick buck now, they're not going to have, I don't know how the film schedule has affected a lot of stuff outside of television, but I know a lot of TV last season was cut short. They've pushed the new season start to January basically for most stuff, and we've already seen what that's done with the CW, sort of pulling in as much content as they could from the DC streaming and that kind of stuff.
And I think we talked last week. I think we talked last week that they're going to do the Walking Dead finale, but I don't know how they must have filmed that very differently than they were going to.
Yeah. And I guess with all this going back on and stuff, even saying that this stuff is going to start up again on various things in January is not something that I'm 100% confident saying yet. And part of that is just I know some stuff has gone back to start filming stuff, but it still does not seem to...
Not a lot.
Yeah, not a lot. And I feel like a lot of stuff is waiting to see how it's going with the stuff that did already go back and all that. So
I'm excited to see how Mulan does, because if it does well, then the floodgates will open. If it kind of flops or it does fine, I kind of wonder if they thought this might not have performed to where they wanted to with some of the weird backlash, and so maybe they thought, well, Mulan's
I don't know if Mulan is a good test for this, because I just never thought that was a complete A-list movie, so I'm really curious how it'll do.
I think it looks great, but we'll see.
Look, it might be a
phenomenal. Well, I guess my curiosity, especially with something like Mulan, is because, and correct me if I'm wrong, but that was supposed to be out fairly soon when everything started shutting down. That wasn't.
I thought it was May. Yeah, I thought that was May release. I think
they already sunk how much money into advertising that movie and all of that before it got pushed out indefinitely. So I could see them looking at it as we're not sure we want to sink that much more money into advertising to bring up the interest again when it's going to hit theaters. All that.
No. Mulan originally was supposed to be March 9th. Well, this is weird. It says March, but then it says, because it's September, I think, is like the new day. Yeah, it was supposed to be March. It was supposed to be March 9th. So they started pulling that, because they pushed that back early.
Yeah, so that was one of the first movies that was already in full advertising swing when they suddenly had to push the date out.
Yeah, I forgot it was that early.
Jeez. They probably, I can't say how much they spent on advertising, but we've talked about the amount of money that goes into advertising gets factored into where they need to make a certain amount in the box office, which means if they have to start all that over.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
So I could see doing this way just as we need to get this out without having to spend a massive amount on advertising, or they can spend a massive amount on advertising, but making it as a Disney Plus advertisement with some push for Mulan and stuff like that.
Brock, when did you see Bloodshot? Was it the 13th? March 13th? Was it Friday or Saturday you went and saw it?
No, I saw it Thursday night. I saw it opening release night.
So that must have been March 12th, because that's the Thursday before the shutdown in California. So that must have been.
It was the 11th. I saw it on the 11th.
The 11th?
The 12th was
Wednesday?
that Friday. What is it?
I'm looking. March 12th is Thursday, according to my calendar.
Okay, because they shut it down on the 15th, because it was they released it on Friday, but everything shut down Monday.
Yeah. So it was going to be out that week, and then wasn't, and they pushed it back. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that's right. Wow, because I had tickets. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Right, I had tickets for it to go see Mulan. I completely forgot I bought those tickets already. Yeah. Well, see, and this is going to be. I mean, this is the gamble, and if it works, everything's going to come out digitally. They're not going to wait for theaters. They're just not. It does make sense. If Mulan does 70% of their box office estimate, forget it. They're just going to release everything digitally. I think they'd be happy with 60-70%. If it beats it, if it does their estimate, if it pulls in 100 million that opening weekend on Disney Plus, then that's it. Every single movie is going to come out digitally. We're going to have Wonder Woman, Tenet, we're going to have Black Widow, we're going to have Ghostbusters, Bill and Ted. Every single thing will get released digitally. But if they've
already announced the digital date for Bill and Ted.
Yeah, sure.
There you go. I'm getting my Bill and Ted no matter what.
But if it stumbles, doesn't do well, then I think we're not going to see another movie till 2021 summertime at the earliest.
I still say it's a particular level of movie, which there's obviously quite a few of them, but it's still a small percentage of movies that have been being held back this way.
Yeah. James Bond.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see what happens. Kinda.
What was that like?
I mean, it's been a while.
You got sticky floors, and you got uncomfortable seats.
I was going to the movie theater like every third week or something crazy. All right, we got some great questions on.
I can't wait for like a movie review when Ryan starts complaining, and the dog kept barking, and
the neighbors were loud. They kept doing the laundry.
See, if we watch movies at home. When we watch movies in the theater, nothing stops Leanne from pausing the movie 17 times during the course of the movie. She's giving me a look right now.
I have to explain it to you because you fall asleep.
I will fall asleep during Wonder Woman. I always fell asleep during that one part of Dark, and that's what we went back. We have some great questions on Patreon. We're going to read these. This is from Josh Pickett. He says, if everything goes according to plan, this episode will premiere my 40th birthday. Well, happy birthday, Josh. Since my state of Florida...
You have to get it up tonight or tomorrow?
Well, I put it up tonight, but it's already tomorrow for him, so...
Oh, okay.
Since my state of Florida screwed up the coronavirus response and I can't do anything. I wonder if my present could be a reading of your oldest email from August.
Yeah.
From the what's that?
Is it his email? That would be hilarious.
I don't know. I'm going to go look. What's my oldest email from August? Thanks for the great content and stay safe, folks. Let's pull up literally the old email box. Let's see. Let's go back. Let's go back to my oldest emails and find August. That's actually really funny. The oldest email I have is from August 16th, 2013.
Hey,
So
that's my birthday.
there you go.
Yeah.
Your birthday.
Yeah, August 16th. You always
from
forget it every year.
From Jason, he says, what are your guys' thoughts on the new DC animated movie Justice League War? With the fact that they replaced Aquaman with Shazam. I hate it because, in my opinion, New 52 Aquaman was awesome. It's my top 3 comics right now, up there with Batman and Swamp Thing. I remember Justice League War. That was pretty good.
I never saw it.
There's a lot of the current DC animated movies I have not watched. I'm really far back on them. But War is good. Yeah. And I
remember it being good.
What storyline did that adapt?
The first Justice League New 52.
Oh, okay.
Basically, they did Flashpoint and then immediately did that as the next one.
Yeah, I know. I don't really recall them replacing Aquaman and Shazam because they didn't have like a huge role in it, if I'm remembering correctly. But I like to take. I love Shazam, but I like Aquaman too. So I don't know. To me, that's it's sort of a wash. I'm okay either way. I don't need the animated movies to be exact or accurate to the comics. They're just going to do their own thing. So, but New 52 Aquaman was really good. Up there with Batman and Swamp Thing. I'd agree with that.
Oh yeah. Wait, that was. Oh yeah, Scott Snyder. Jeff Johns.
Yeah.
But
so there you go,
by
Josh and
2013,
Jason.
it was probably Charles Soule at that point.
On Swamp Thing?
Yeah, because he took over about halfway through the run.
It might have been. Happy birthday, Josh. Hopefully you have an okay Corona birthday. Mario Miranda says, who's the best Batman and why? Is it Dick Grayson?
Oh, that's cool too. I'll go with Dick Grayson.
That was a good book. The fact that we make it a new Morrison era story, I have no idea what a story is going to be in Detective 1027, but I would kill for a new Dick Grayson Damian story in Detective 1027. That would be great. But the Dick Grayson run was really, really good. But I think it's good because you finally get to see the thing you've wanted to see. But Bruce will always come back. I mean, Terry's cool. Azrael's cool. But
I do love that. When you first said the question, I was thinking in terms of actors who have played Batman, and then you immediately did the Dick Grayson part.
You can answer that too if you want.
It's like for me, it's Bruce. It's always Bruce.
How about who is your favorite Batman replacement? And Alfred stepped in there. Who else is?
Wasn't there that Commissioner Gordon in the robot suit?
That was in his New 52 Snyder.
Who else has been in the Batman suit or an equivalent? We have like the Batman 1 million.
Didn't Clark take up the mantle for a second?
In the Tom King, they did their like double date, switch costume party thing, right? Yeah. I'm sure there's old Silver Age stories where Superman was Batman for a story or whatever. Yeah.
It's a given. In terms of replacement, I would go with Terry, but that's just because I really like that futuristic Gotham world. Like, I don't think I would like it if like Terry replaced Bruce in like normal Gotham, but in future Gotham, it's fine.
Yeah.
Especially with the dynamic of having Bruce in the chair, kind of still being involved. I thought that worked really well.
Yep.
But yeah, a lot of the other sort of villains for Batman, including sort of Dick, I've liked at the time, but I was always ready to celebrate Bruce's return.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was never a time when I was like, I don't want Bruce back. And like, I love the Azrael Batman design. Like, I loved that costume and stuff when all that was going on. But then, as soon as they announced the return of Bruce, I was like, Team Bruce again.
Well, yeah, that's what you're waiting for. But it's fun, I don't mind when they do this from time to time. It's fun. Yeah, I don't know that I have a really better answer than Dick Grayson for a replacement Batman. I mean, he does a really good job. It's fun. Those are fun stories. Brock, Kevin?
I said Dick.
Dick's fine.
Yeah.
From Brian.
Damian was pretty good too.
Yeah. The 666 stuff, yeah.
That 666 issue that you can't find because everyone's like, it's the devil issue, but it's also Damian.
Brian says, if you guys could bring any comic character to the big screen or TV series that isn't already there,
so hasn't had one.
He says, let's say it could also be for mature audiences. By the way, Doom Patrol and Stargirl are amazing. Can't wait for Titans. They've done a lot.
Yeah.
They really have done a lot of characters.
Elongated. Oh no, they've done it. And Sue Dibney, they're in the CW. Damn it.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, I'd allow like Justice League International. Like, I mean that even though multiple of those characters have shown up, I'm.
Okay, would you allow an actual Batman and the Outsiders, and not keep teasing all of it?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't really got any of those characters.
We've gotten Black Lightning, we've gotten Katana, but we haven't had Metamorpho or Halo or Geoforce.
Not really.
Yeah. Oh God.
What was the exact wording of the question again?
If you could bring in any comic character to the big screen, or TV
to the
series,
big screen
or TV series, or TV
Damn it. Because we're answering the spirit of the question, not the letter, Charlie.
That's okay. I'm having fun thinking Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
This has like
comic
some weird,
character is a villain. I like Mr. Sinister.
Yeah.
Gosh, the small screen, they've had a lot of characters on cartoons, and Brave the Bold.
True.
No, Brave the Bold by itself eliminates.
Live action.
I
was making the assumption live action too. If you start going animated, then
that's impossible.
Yeah.
I mean, we know it's coming, but New Gods, I
wasn't going to count that because you know it's going to happen.
Well, hopefully it happens. God. Toby, Moon Knight. We need Moon Knight.
Happening.
Again, it's hopefully happening.
It's happening.
It hasn't happened yet.
I'm not happy with Keanu Reeves, which I really wanted, but it's happening.
My new Warrior show is not happening, thank God. I'll take them.
I'd like a Demon Knight
show.
The new Warrior show, just for that justice and...
None of those. I mean, Nova's never appeared on anything live action. Firestar's never appeared on anything live action. Not that I...
Yeah,
I'd like
Warriors would be actually nice.
I'd like a Demon Knight show based in the past.
Have they had Jason Blood? He must have been on Smallville or something.
I think he was on Smallville.
He must have been. Did they have? Was Jason Blood an Arrow? How do you know?
How does Leanne know?
He was who?
He was the same guy that was.
He was the same guy that was in True Blood. Let me look this up.
Like the mayor.
No, that was Brother Blood. That was
Yeah, that's Brother Blood. That's the other guy.
Brother.
Yeah. The Arrowverse fandom wiki says Jason Blood is the alter ego of Etrigan, is the field support for the multiverse team Legend. So this is like garbage. What does this even mean? That's not real.
Was he on Legends of Tomorrow?
No.
Not that I remember.
No.
I would not be surprised if Constantine dropped his name once, but...
Maybe.
I have to say, the new Warriors, the classic New Warriors, really, they haven't done at all. None of them.
No.
Right?
None of those characters appeared in anything live action. Yeah.
Yeah. That'd probably be my pick.
Yeah. And then to me, when I heard about the show, I was so disappointed because it's not just because I like the series. I think those first 25 issues would translate incredibly well today to a TV show about a bunch of kind of not just down and out. It's not really the word I want to use, but sort of, not the top tier kids with their own personal lives and, some trouble, right? That they're involved with and they're on the streets. And it's a very modern story even today. 30 years old, but it's still Still relevant.
Still more relevant than the new Warriors.
Yeah. All right. This question from Zach Johnson. Kevin, this is directly at you. If you could have any artist, past or present, alive or dead, draw a commission for you, who would it be and what character?
Oh.
What's Kirby doing for you?
Well, see, okay, so I'm going to go with the premise of this question. I'm going to say I wouldn't factor in how much could I resell it for, because then obviously you're going to choose based on money. I'm going to say something I would just keep.
Yeah.
Okay, if somebody else has an answer, jump in on this. I really got to ponder this to give him a quality answer on this.
Good commission.
Or does it have to be dead or alive?
No, it says past or present.
Dead or alive.
Past or present. Anyone.
Coming with me.
Well, this is in absolutely no way a flex. I'm pretty happy with my collection. I got so many. It really is not. Like, look, I've been fortunate enough that I got some Jim Lee pieces, and sure, they're like quick head sketches, not the super fancy, all out ones. But I'm really, really happy with what I got, and I got some basically all the ones I really wanted. I got. I even have a Turner quick head sketch, so I'm pretty stoked with what I have. But the one guy I would like to meet and die to have a commission from is Ino Takehiko, the guy who did Slam Dunk, to get a real Slam Dunk piece. Fuck, I'd be floored. If I could get a Slam Dunk piece, that'd be I'll give a left nut for that.
All right, I got mine. I want Mobius to do a Sandman piece.
Oh.
That's my pick. I'll take some of those Jim Lee Sandman or Death ones he did too during the shutdown.
What's tough here is to see, because I have Byrne, Perez, and Neil Adams. It's kind of like I would love a page of original art by Jim Aparo, but I wouldn't necessarily need a commission from him because a lot of the older artists, I'd like a piece of original art, but I hate to be the Charlie in this conversation, but honestly, I think I'd go with Alex Ross. And I think I'd have to do with the commission is I'd have Alex Ross paint a recreation of one of the first Bronze Age comics I ever read.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, the biggest hang up on a question like this is the cost. If you take the cost out of it, it would absolutely be Alex Ross.
No cost required.
And then, my brain from there went, I would love, an Eastman Turtles or Stan Sakai Usagi.
Do you just want the mural he painted at the Marvel office just installed in your house? You saw that, right?
Yes, I saw that, and I'm just thinking, I'm not sure I have a wall big enough because I wouldn't want it broken up. That's my problem with something like that. I wouldn't want it to be and then you have to cut it here and wrap around here. No, I'd want one long wall, and I'm not sure I have a wall long enough for that thing. No, that thing was great, except for the fact it doesn't have any cable.
Well, it's good. Your commission, so he can also add cable, just front and center cable, right in between Spider-Man and.
You could just have cable flexing, so his arm covers Captain America's face on one side, and holding his gun so it covers Spider-Man's face on the other side. Boom, cable.
There you go.
That would be amazing.
Is it funny? I couldn't grab a second character. A second character in that scenario was not coming to me. Captain America is the perfect pick. For some reason, Cyclops jumped in my head, and I'm like, nah. Question from Christopher. He's asking this for a friend. I don't know. There's no quotation, so I don't know if this is a real friend, or I don't know if this is him or another friend or whatever. But this is a tough question. So let's. This is a retailer question. So I'll get to this one. This is a scenario for you. If your best customer who had 25 monthly, regular pulls a week or whatever, and religiously picked up his books every Wednesday, who you were very friendly with, was to inform you that he was planning to open up a shop in a few years that was in an area 30 minutes away from you as to be non-competitive, what would your reaction as a shop owner be? Would you wish them the best? Would you offer to have a cooperative business relationship? should they have kept this information to themselves, at least until their shop was close to be up and running? Thanks for my favorite podcast. You're welcome, Chris.
Is he opening a store 30 minutes away from
that's got some super specific details in it.
I have a feeling this is happening.
Well,
Yeah.
Hopefully.
okay, hold on. 30 minutes is completely different depending on where you're at.
Yeah,
like around
30 minutes
here,
from here could be like
30
4
minutes
blocks.
is like, it's like 4 to 5 miles. 30 minutes in the Midwest is roughly, 30 miles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So to me, the big asterisk here is in a couple years, because in a couple years means there's no shop opening anytime or ever, probably more than likely. In a couple years, fucking, I can't think in a couple months, let alone a couple years. Now they could obviously have some long-term plan, and there's plans. Everyone says in a couple of years I'm going to do a thing, and they're never going to do it. All right, they're never going to do it. Well, let's say this really happened. Right, that would be tough. I wouldn't, personally, I wouldn't be like, "F you, banned from my store." No, I mean, if I'm legitimately friendly with them, I can't say I'd go out of my way to help them, really, but I wouldn't. I don't know that I'd be mad. I'd just be like, okay, well, good luck. It's a tough business, especially if you're a customer. We had a shop around the corner from us that's been around, and they're on like their 7th or 8th set of owners now. And multiple have been, well, there's been 2 shops in the area, 2 different ones that have had actually there's been 3 customers that were like, yeah, it'd be cool to own a comic book store. That doesn't really work. It's a business. It's not a fun weekend thing to do occasionally, right?
What? What are you talking about? I have fun at work.
I got fun at work too, but it's very different to own a business than it is to be a customer. Obviously, I don't know the situation here. I don't know how serious he is or what his previous background is or anything like that. But
I'm sorry, I gotta be honest. It's me. It's now.
It's Legends 2.0 is coming under Toby's management.
See, for me, the thing that stuck out in this scenario, where like the distance and all that is quite a bit, but when you start talking about like one of the largest customers at the shop, like that stands out a little bit more to me, just because that also is informing you that you're going to be losing a certain amount of revenue.
Right.
Which,
and
as
that
a shop owner, I would assume would be a little more disconcerting than the fact that he's going to open up a comic shop somewhere. Even taking the 30-hour, like the distance from you, if you can say it's not a direct competitor, doesn't necessarily matter. But losing the income from a regular source of income, I would assume would be a little more concerning.
What if the person was like you? He opens his own shop but still buys all his books at the store.
That would be really bizarre.
Especially if I came in and said, I don't get a better discount at my own store.
my concern here is that this is, opening up a shop as a big customer kind of makes me feel like this turns into a buying club very quickly, where it's a bunch of private people that open a shop, quote unquote, in their apartment complex and get the books for wholesale, which really the dumb thing about that, and I mean, I've talked about this all the time, you don't have to do that. You don't have to have a buying club. If it's the price, go to Discount Comic Book Service. You'll get them cheaper than you'll get them wholesale, just because that's their model. So there's just, there's a couple of red flags here. I would assume this will never happen. But if it happened, I would be, I'd be frustrated, maybe a little annoyed, but I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't like make them an enemy for life or anything like that. But I mean, if they're like trying to poach your customers, or that's different, But
Ryan, we're already our enemies.
Well, you become enemies through time. That's all right.
I'm trying to think. I don't. Not even necessarily trying to poach your customers, but I'm trying to think if there's anybody at the shop that would be considered popular enough I don't mean as somebody who's worked there or something, but like say Kevin decided to open up a shop, or Bryce decided to open up a shop, or Scott decided to open up a shop. I'm just thinking about sort of customers who are active in the community that the shop has created. Would you be more concerned?
Well, so one of our customers did leave, but he had moved to like the East Coast or something like that and opened up a shop. And I see him occasionally in the retailer forums, but it's like I don't know what his deal is. But he was a customer at the store for a little while. So I mean, that's a very different situation. But yeah, I'd be very tough around this area. But yeah, I wouldn't fight the guy, but it'd be annoying. Kevin, we got 2 questions, and I think you're going to want to stick around for them. You good?
Yep, hit it.
Okay, we'll get through this quick. From Alex, is we can all agree that if you split the Marvel Universe in 2, one half would be the X-Men, and the other half would be everything else. And that's fair. I think so, right? I mean...
That's pretty much how Marvel has existed for all time.
Right. How would you split the DC Universe into 2?
The Batman universe and everything else?
That was going to be my answer. I think it's Batman and everything else. Yeah. I think you could take Batman out of the DC universe, and Batman would be his own thing. And I think it's not just sales wise. I think it really is just tone and character. If Batman didn't exist in the Justice League, I love Batman in the Justice League, but I think the book would continue without him forever. Batman exists kind of in a different world.
For me, I would even say to a degree, even having Batman in the Justice League, it always feels like a different Batman anyways.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the easy answer is Earth 1, Earth 2, and then you just JLA, JSA, and there's your split. They've kind of already had this, right? But I think Batman's the answer. No other split would really make sense. I mean, the whole idea with Superman is his inspiration of other characters. That's a big part of it. And any other character is not big enough to split out. So,
and I mean, you take Batman out of the equation. Have you seen the size of his rogues gallery?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got a lot.
I mean, just look at the amount of trades are on the DC shelf, right? Batman and everything else.
It's Batman's like one whole shelf.
I mean, I'm talking like Batman and his entire family, but it's literally Batman and his family versus everything else. And sure, all the imprints may have a little bit more on the side, but just DC superheroes.
Although I actually have another answer: Vertigo. I think they basically did. Swamp Thing, John Constantine, Sandman, these characters all existed out of the DC universe for many years.
That's a cheat answer. That doesn't count.
And then all the superheroes together.
That doesn't count, man.
Final question from Jonathan, and then we're going to wrap up. Outside of things that were solicited and never released, like the Monster Society Evil and Detective Before Batman, what unsolicited or what uncollected series and runs would you most like to see collected in full? For me, it's either Jack Kirby's 2001 or the Tom Payer Rags Morales Hourman series. That was a good series. I don't think any of
that 2001 is a deep cut. That's a good call.
Yeah.
Some of the things are now on DC Universe, like the Denny O'Neil Question series and All-Star Squadron. Those would have been 2 of my answers.
Well, Question has been collected.
Oh, that has been. Yes, it's just long gone. The Question was never been collected.
But All-Star,
was his question?
Yeah. Well, this is collected in full. Okay. So All-Star
had those showcase.
Yeah, but that's not.
Yeah. So my answer is All-Star Squadron.
I like that. The complete All-Star, Infinity Inc., Young All-Star, like that entire omnibus series.
I care mainly about the first run, but sure, I'll take them all. It's a big tent. They're all welcome.
So my answer isn't even a long run or anything like that. I just have one particular story arc I really want collected and have really wanted collected for 25 years now or something like that. And that's Emerald Fallout.
Has it never been collected?
It has never been collected.
Wow. Man.
And
Green Lantern.
That's basically, they did the Twilight when Hal fell, and then they did Emerald Fallout in 3 issues of the Guy Gardner series.
Yeah.
Which sort of picks up as Guy goes out there and finds out exactly what Hal did, and he encounters Hal as Parallax. So like the first time after Twilight you see Hal again is in Fallout. And even in the height of John's, when they were recollecting like Emerald Twilight and all this stuff, they still have never collected Fallout, and it drives me insane. And I mean, it was more than just Guy Gardner, if I recall. Like Wonder Woman went out to space with him and stuff in that story, and like that's how everybody finds out that Hal went off the deep end, technically. So, yeah.
It's been collected before, but I would like to see like an omnibus of it, and that's like the Jimmy Palmiotti. Huh?
That's not the question.
Never been collected. Never been collected. Brock, your answer obviously is the final volume of Rebels. That's your answer.
Yeah. No, I have that bound. I don't need that anymore. I mean, it's like I'd want to like they've done a little bit of it, but like the Jonah Hex stuff from the first actual Jonah Hex series, they've never
they haven't.
They've never collected that.
Like the Silver Age stuff. Yeah. They just did that Weird Western collection as far as... I mean, again, I think they may have done some...
That's all the All-Star stuff. It's not the actual Jonah Hex stuff.
And we're not... See, I'm wondering, because I know they had a couple of volumes of Jonah Hex and like those black and white essentials or showcase or whatever they were called at that time.
Yeah, so that
I know they had a few volumes of that.
Yeah, the black and whites. Yeah.
But I don't think that was in full. So
No.
I don't know. They were in black and white. I couldn't be bothered. And they weren't hardcover. They had all sorts of stuff against them.
But it's a good book.
You know, the funniest thing about those old like phone books to me is I always kind of felt like if I bought them, they would just end up as coloring books for my kids.
I'm sure that's what it ended up being for a lot of people.
That'd be some good training for a career as a comic colorist, because you're not just coloring book images. You got to really get in on these fine, small drawings.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they've collected so many things through the years. I mean, I will go to another obvious answer. The rest of New Warriors, right? Again, they've only collected that first batch. I
mean, I will say this in terms of
I'll take two Dark Hawk omnibuses. It's 50 issues, right? The 50 issues, a couple of annuals, perfect. Yeah. They've never collected any Dark Hawk.
I will say
what they never collected. Was there a Dark Hawk trade?
Yeah, Dark Hawk Classic Volume 1. I bought it from you.
Oh, they did do the classic. What was that? The first 10 issues or whatever. Yeah, they never collected the rest of it. Though.
They started.
Yeah, they did the one.
I will say this just because it's one of the things that has dawned on me a lot recently, especially going through single issues and that kind of stuff, is last time I went through all my single issues, there was all sorts of stuff I looked at where I'm like, they would never collect this in trade. The sheer amount of that stuff that in like the last 15 years that has been collected it's staggering. There doesn't really feel like anything nowadays where I'm like, oh yeah, that would never be collected. I feel like everything is fair game at some point.
And I have to assume that 2001 that just will never. That's a licensing nightmare. There's no chance of that ever getting collected.
If I dig through the back issue bins.
Yeah.
You know my answer.
What was that?
You know my answer.
What's your answer?
Birds of Prey by Chuck Dixon.
Oh, yeah. They only collected a little bit of that, huh?
Yeah, those bastards.
They're redoing the Gail Simone trades. They're doing new collections.
Chuck Dixon stuff.
I'm sure they will.
Sure, that's what you've been telling me for 30 years now, or however long I know you for.
They never
only feels like 30.
They never collected any of the Dreaming.
The original one?
Mm-hmm.
I think they did. I don't think they finished it, but I think there was a couple Dreaming trades out. But I don't think they collected the whole thing, and definitely not anything that's been modern. But I'm pretty sure there was at least one or two. It obviously went a lot longer than that, though. All right.
Okay, as you're about to do the outro, I finally have my answer to that guy's question about the live-action adaptation.
Oh, yeah?
I've been thinking this whole time, because my real answer is Adam Warlock, but I was trying to think of something else, and I've got it. Ryan, you're going to go for this. Charlie, I think you're going to go for this. Give me a big budget, put it on TV. I want a series, not a movie. Commandy.
Oh, that'd be great.
Somehow, as you started talking about this, I'm like, I totally know what he's going to say, and I was right.
That'd be great. Commandy would be great.
I just want to watch the Tom King episode.
That'd be good. And one last thing before we. This is for Kevin. This is from Ryan Higgins for Kevin. Kevin, are you reading the Steve Englehart 13th Dimension .com annotations?
I have bookmarked them, but I haven't started reading them.
Really good. That's really cool stuff. I've read the first
there's
couple.
about I see the headlines. It's the detective run, is what he's talking about.
Yeah, it says Run a Detective. Yeah. I've read the first couple of his annotations. It's really good stuff. If I ever go to 13th Dimensions, 13th, 13thdimensions.com, a lot of they cover a lot of like classic comic book. They have a lot of news stories of like classic stuff and reprints and trades of older material. I think it's a really cool set of annotations from Steve Englehart on his run of Batman from the 70s. So they've been doing a couple of I don't know if it's every day or a couple of weeks or something. So it's cool stuff.
Still one of the best Batman runs ever.
Yeah.
Even though it was only, I think, 8 issues.
Yeah. Well, he talks about like, he's like, I borrowed the books of the original Detective Comics and I went back to those pulp stories and I brought back these characters that hadn't been used in years, and I wanted Joker to be scary, not silly, and create all these great characters. And changes the character kind of forever going forward. Okay, that is it. That was a podcast. Oh, Kevin, you've got to go. Toby, do you want to talk Umbrella Academy for a few minutes?
It's just I only have 2 words. I said 2 words. It's fucking awesome. Sweet.
Are you done? Is it over? You watched the whole thing already?
Yes, of course.
Okay. Kevin, if you want to go, you can go.
Because I haven't watched any, so I'll take this opportunity to bow out.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Cameron, right now I'll give you a huge spoiler. The only negative thing about this show is that I have to wait probably like 2 more years to big spoiler.
All right. Goodbye, Kevin. We can take off. Thank you.
All right, gentlemen.
Leave your computer on so the whole thing.
Yes, I got it. I know the routine at this point. All right.
So I haven't seen it, Toby. Boy, whatever you want to say, I'm okay. I don't care.
I mean, they all obviously deviated from the comic book stuff, but I think the characters are so true to what they're, what there are from the comic books that I kind of love it. I like I said, I have nothing. The music is phenomenal. The music, like season 1, I thought the music choices were phenomenal. The set pieces were great. I mean, I don't want to spoil anything about the show, but I thought it was freaking fantastic. I can't wait to get more. There's some story elements that I thought were maybe a little repetitive, maybe a little predictable, but there's a nice little spin on it. So I absolutely love and adore this show. I'll leave it at that. I don't know, Charlie, did you watch any of it yet?
Yes, I watched all the second season already.
Good man.
Yes, no, it was great. I
don't actually love it.
No, I really, really liked the second season. I do feel the first season was better.
That's interesting. But most people are saying the second season.
Yeah, I know. I saw that online too, and I'm like, no, I think I like the first season better. But I think I agree with a lot of the sentiment that the second season kind of feels like they were able to hit the ground running. And I will say something that I don't think counts as a spoiler, but you guys can yell at me if it does. They made a very common, what I would consider a mistake in television, except they actually did it well. Like so many examples of shows that I've encountered, there's always that point where like they split the cast up and all the cast is sort of doing their own thing, or groups of the cast are doing their own thing, and it tends to detract from the story because you want everybody kind of back together.
They pulled it.
What was that?
They pulled a Walking Dead.
Well, I mean, Walking Dead, Lost. There's tons of examples of when it feels like it was a mistake to split up the cast that much and have that many concurrent stories going on at once.
Well, I enjoyed the new characters.
I did not feel that way at all with Umbrella Academy Season 2, even though they did the exact thing I typically say they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
They did such a good job balancing the different stories. I was thoroughly engaged with like every character's arc in it. So
I also just pairings too. Like, there were certain pairings that they had in the first season, and I kind of really liked the dynamic of some of the new choices they did.
Well, they're doing the same thing in Doom Patrol currently with season 2. Like they've kind of separated out everybody in their groups are telling their own stories.
I mean, that's pretty common. It's just, can they do it good? So
Yeah. I'm a little bit behind, and I think even the Doom Patrol, when I say a little bit behind, I mean maybe an episode or two. I don't feel like they've separated the characters. They just gave them their own stories. When I'm talking about like fully separated the characters, I mean they don't really like come back together. They're all off.
They're off
for a big period of time. It's sort of like when
I really enjoyed Diego's story.
Yeah,
special. I was like, that was phenomenal, especially the way to set it up too. I was like, this is great.
Yeah, and that's sort of my example. They did such a good job of that. It surprised me because that's typically something I would suggest a show not do.
Yeah,
but they did it very well.
Yeah, I also liked is it Nadia, the other girl, the new girl? I thought her story was really good too. Lydia?
Lila,
that's what it was. Yeah. I really enjoyed her story too. But yeah, no, like I said, I this
Toby better than season 1, you think?
You know, I don't like comparing seasons, to be honest with you. There's stuff I like in season 1 better than in season 2, and there's stuff in season 2 I like better than season 1. But I mean, there's stuff specifically, like I think my favorite scene would not hit as strong if it wasn't for season 1, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, so yeah, and I also enjoyed what they did with Vanya, like big time, like that she's actually happy. They're all a little different, right? So like Vanya is actually on a farm and actually kind of happy, and then finds out about her screwed up family, and I thought that dynamic worked really well too. So yeah, no, I don't like to rate them really. I mean, I know we do that for Marvel movies all the time, and but no, as a whole, I just absolutely adore this show. So this and Stranger Things, man, will get my $12 for Netflix as long as they keep pumping out these series on a monthly basis.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll talk about it a little bit. I'm probably not going to start until after I finish Doom Patrol.
Yeah,
a couple episodes back on that, but
you're still watching it. I don't want to go full spoiler talk on it.
Yeah, but we can down the road sometime. We can talk more about it.
It's on my list.
Okay, that is it. Thank you all very much for listening to another episode of the Comic Conspiracy Podcast. But before we go, we have to thank our top-tier Patreon backers. If you want to be on this list, you can go to patreon.com/comicconspiracy. Thanks to Joe Duff, Andrew Nelson Mendez over Recovery of an Anime Junkie podcast, Craig Anderson at craigpanderson.com, James Laws, Jimmy Rivera at the social, why is my thing? I know I got it here. My word wrap is off. Everything's all weird. The Social Forum podcast, social FOURUM. Jesse Peterson at the Comic Book Batters podcast, Martin Aguilar. Oh, as well as Martin Aguilar. He's the final person. And his girlfriend does Pokemon art extension cards at Instagram, Lost Ghost Flower, and Etsy.com/shop/Lost Ghost Flower. Please go support all of them. Thank you very much for your support on patreon.com/Comic Conspiracy. And you can head over to Comic Conspiracy Podcast, geekbox.net, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify to find all our previous episodes. YouTube.com/Comics Conspiracy if you want to listen to us on YouTube. No video, just fun audio. And some people do. We got a handful of hits on all those episodes. People just like YouTube. The Comic Conspiracy at geekbox.net. If you want a question read in 5 to 7 years, you should send us an email there. Of course, I also do read more recent emails than that. Our web store is comicsconspiracy.biz. That is where you can go purchase your Mitch Gerads store exclusive variant cover, as well as the signed edition. We will keep updating people on quantities if we start to run low on that signed copy. So again, head over to comicsconspiracy.biz and pick up a copy of the book today. And do not forget conspiratorrock.com. That's Brock's blog, video posts, and unboxing videos. You can go watch his stuff there. Charlie's got the Doctor Who podcast. That's Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension. And Kevin Sharp has the series of creator interviews called Between the Panels at fanbasepress.com. He just had his interview with Dan Didio go up, so we can talk to Dan. And if you would like some artwork, you can go visit my wife Leanne's Etsy store at etsy.com/shop/Leanne Hill Art, or just leannehill.com. You can go find all her stuff on there as well. If you're on Twitter, please follow us. Ryan Higgins Ryan, that is myself. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. Kevin is That Kevin Sharp. The store is Comics Con Store. And I have been talking to our good friend, Mr. Al Larson Bryce on Twitter. And, well, I've been talking to him in, sort of real life email, just actual, not like social media talking. And
years ago that you're answering now?
What's that?
Is it emails from 5 years ago from him that you're answering now?
No. But I'm definitely trying to get Bryce back on. I know he's been busy and things have been weird with the shutdown and everything, but we do want to try to get Bryce back on here soon. So I think in the next couple of weeks, we're going to try to get him back in. And then finally, go listen to the Geekbox podcast. I'm on that every week. We talked about the podcast crashed halfway through recording this week. That was fun. We talked a little more about Final Fantasy 14. Tell us what we talk about this week.
How about Paper Mario?
Leanne's playing Paper Mario right now as we speak.
Hell yeah!
I'm watching her play right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's some big paper crafted origami octopuses attacking her right now. It's good stuff.
It's a blooper, dummy.
Oh, it's a blooper? I can't tell. I just see the legs. Also, go over to Manga Machinations and our good friends over there that talk about manga and anime. You can go listen to their podcast as well. Thank you all very much, and we'll catch you next week.